Finally, Microsoft and Xbox have come out and announced the price of the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X. Not to mention they announced the release date for both consoles. Basically, Xbox strikes first when it comes to revealing their next generation console price and release date. Now I know this came from a leak, so it probably wasn't planned by Microsoft, and this might have hindered their marketing plans. But when something like this happens and the world sees the system, not to mention the price, it's best to get in front of it and just roll with the punches, which to their credit, Xbox did very well the next day. But I'm actually happy that this happened because it finally puts to rest the leaked price rumors and the leaked release date rumors, not to mention the stare down between Sony and Microsoft, which has been driving me and every other gamer crazy. So while I don't think Microsoft wanted to go first and show what they had, these leaks have forced their hand. But it's also forced Sony to rethink the way they want to show their next generation consoles and talk about the release date and also the price that they plan to have. Because the price of the Xbox Series S is going to be such an appealing price to so many people around the world, one has to wonder what PlayStation is going to do to combat that. But first, let's talk about this new Xbox Series S, the worst kept secret in the gaming industry, and talk about how Xbox strikes first at what's going to be a much more competitive generation. And also talk about why this release date sets Xbox up very well to dominate when the holiday season comes rolling around. But also I'll talk about what Sony can do to regain some of the momentum when they announce their console prices and release date. Let's get into all these articles and these leaks and the confirmed official release of these next generation consoles. But first, like always, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so let's finally get into the details about this release because let's be honest, we've waited long enough for both Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X release date and price reveals. Now the first person to bring this out officially was Brad Sams, who put out a tweet about the Series S and even had footage of it and even an image of the console. It was a very well thought out leak and you can tell his sources really helped him nail it down. What's awesome about this leak is that a couple of minutes after his reveal, Jez Gordon, who is one of the most well-respected gaming journalists around, dropped an article talking about the release date of the consoles and the prices of both the Series S and the Series X. Here's what the article starts off by saying. It has been long rumored that Microsoft is working on two Xbox consoles for next gen, aiming to claim both ends of the market. And now we can confirm indeed that the pricing scheme should be very familiar, matching that of the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S of yesteryear. We can confirm via our sources that the entry-level Xbox Series S will cost $299 at retail with a $25 per month Xbox All Access financing option, which Microsoft is planning to push hard via various retailers and a large global rollout. The more powerful Xbox Series X will cost $499 with a $35 per month Xbox All Access financing option. Finally, something we can dig our teeth into, official price options for both of these systems. Because for the longest time, we kept hearing about the Series S being $200 or the Series X being $600. But now with Windows Central confirming that these consoles will be $299 and $499, it does open up a lot of intriguing options for gamers this generation. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll be one of the people buying the Series X day one for $499, and to me, that's an insane price for something so powerful with ray tracing and an amazing SSD inside of it. But for people that want a 1440p machine with up to 120 FPS, they can get the Xbox Series S. There are options for everyone involved, and that to me is the best thing Xbox could have done. They not only have the premium console on the market with the Xbox Series X, but they also have a pretty capable machine that's going to dominate an entry-level cost into next generation with the Xbox Series S. And from the looks of it, this Xbox All Access financing options that will be available for people is going to be a huge strategy in selling these consoles. Because this has been something Phil Spencer has talked about, and it's something that's coming front and center when the console prices are being revealed. And for $25 a month, you'll be able to jump into the Xbox ecosystem and next generation games. That's such a great deal and something I have a feeling a lot of people will be more than happy to sign up for. I mean, just think about it. You could walk out with a new Xbox Series S console and hundreds of games for $25 a month. Those hundreds of games come from Xbox Game Pass, which will be available to you once you go with the All Access route. That type of system selling power could really change the way people consume the consoles. It's going to be something we've never seen before, and it will honestly have people almost impulse buy their consoles when they walk into a Best Buy or if they just want to shop online. And for $35, you can get all of that, but a much better piece of hardware in the Xbox Series X. So for $35 a month, you get the most powerful console on the market and hundreds of games that are compatible on it. Oh, and did I mention all of the Xbox Game Studio games that launch day and date on Game Pass? There's no deal like it, and I have a feeling it's going to do very well for Xbox if they market this right and execute it properly. But now let's get into the release date of the console and some of the specs. Here's what the article had to say. Both consoles will launch on November 10th, 2020. The Xbox Series S just leaked via Brad Sams, giving us a glimpse at Microsoft's entry-level next-gen SKU. The Xbox Series S is small enough to fit inside an Xbox Series X, and we expect it to be around 4 teraflops RDNA 2, making it roughly around as powerful as the Xbox One X, perhaps geared towards 1080p monitors with better frame rates. We don't have further details on the console's capabilities beyond that, but we expect NVMe drives and many of the newer next-gen features like fast resuming multiple games and ray tracing. So November 10th is the day we will all be able to grab these consoles and have them in our homes. Now, if some of you remember, there was a leak that said that the consoles will launch on November 13th, and they had some merit to back that up. And most of what people leak usually has to do with what was done in previous generations. Like the very popular line says, history tends to repeat itself. And this November launch is a much better date for Xbox to launch because it's right before the holiday season, and it also helps them get a foothold in the market before any other console can launch. Because I might be wrong, but I don't see Sony launching the PS5 earlier than this, especially since they haven't even announced anything for the PS5 in regards to pre-orders or price. But I have a feeling Sony will start to talk soon, especially since Xbox is striking first. But back to my previous video, I said that it might launch on the 13th of November, but now we all know it's going to be coming on the 10th, which is close enough. Plus, I love this release date because it's smack dab in the middle of some of the biggest games coming this year. So it's a good incentive for people to buy a new console along with some of these new massive third-party games. But now let's talk about the specs of the Series S. As you can see, a lot of the leaks that we saw earlier, that information was pretty spot on. The console will have 4 teraflops RDNA 2 architecture, which puts it far ahead of the Xbox One X console. Just because of the RDNA 2 architecture, it makes the Series S far more efficient than the One X. Not to mention they are aiming for 120 frames in certain games and locked 60 frames for pretty much all games. To me, this is one of the best things from these new systems. I want better frame rates, and I have a feeling once a lot of people see what 60 FPS locked on is on a consistent basis, they won't want to turn back to 30 FPS. I know for me, it's very jarring to play a game at 120 FPS or 60 FPS and then play a game at 30 FPS. It almost breaks my immersion. But let's continue with the specs. We know it will have a 512GB SSD hard drive, NVMe drives, and of course, ray tracing. All of this for just $299 is an insane value and something I think a lot of people should give Xbox credit for. Because for that price, you are truly getting something so valuable at such a good price. For example, the Xbox One launched at $499 and the Xbox One X is still $399. Even the PS4 Pro, which is less powerful than both the One X, is still at a premium price point. At this point, it's obvious that both Microsoft and Sony are trying to push away from the current generation of consoles. Which brings me to the Xbox Series X console, the most powerful console in the world. Here's what the article had to say about its performance and what we should expect from both the Series X and the Series S. The Xbox Series X is a 12 teraflop beast of a console that will boast 4K resolution and 60 FPS as standard, with some games like Halo Infinite going all the way up to 120 FPS in multiplayer. The prices Microsoft have put forward for the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X put them firmly in line with the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. And it will be interesting to see how Sony prices the competing PlayStation 5 in response. Microsoft has committed to bringing the entire Xbox One game library, including backward-compatible Xbox 360 games, forward to the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X. And your best Xbox One headset and all of your other accessories will just work on the next-gen systems as well. So we have a console that will be 12 teraflops of power sustained for only $499. That's such a massive value, it almost feels like a dream at this point. Because as a hardcore gamer, I love playing my games at the peak performance they can possibly be at. It's why I have an Xbox One X, a PS4 Pro, and of course a pretty good PC. It's because I love playing my favorite hobby at the best performance the developers want me to play at. And with Xbox promoting both consoles to gamers, it does add value for me to the Series X. Because while the Series S will be 4 teraflops of power, it still has some of the best hardware everywhere else. All the while, the Series X will have the best GPU on the market baked into the system. Microsoft is giving gamers so many options, and they're putting pressure on the PS5 while doing it. And I'm not saying that to start this whole console war thing. I'm saying that because, like I've always said, competition is key in everything we do. And having Microsoft drop a console at $299 does put a lot of pressure on Sony to come down in price, especially on their digital console. They might have to come down a lot more than they want to. And that only benefits us, the gamers. So either way, I'm excited for November 10th, and I can't wait to see what other news bits Xbox has in store for us, and also what Sony has to show us in the next couple of days, because you better believe they're coming in hot with something in the next few days. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Are you happy with the $299 price point? Will you be buying an Xbox Series S? Will you buy both a Series S and a Series X? Which console appeals to you more? Do you think the all-access option for $25 a month is worth it? What can Sony do to combat this price? Which console do you want out of all of them? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. Right now, I'm playing a bunch of Marvel's Avengers. I'm really liking that game. I'm going through the campaign. I played a little multiplayer with my friends, which was a lot of fun, but I'm really loving all the characters in there, and Captain America is my favorite. I don't know which one you guys like, but Cap is awesome. So is Thor. Thor is a lot of fun to play also. So yeah, what are you playing? Go down below. Let me know. Are you working through your backlog, or are you playing Marvel's Avengers like me? And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.